Hello.
Hello.
What are we doing?
You know what we're doing. It's in
I,
the title. They know why we're here. Let's do this.
I've got to open it somewhere. Yes, we're talking about the new episode of Doccy Who entitled "The Robot Revolution."
As written by Russell T Davies.
Yes, opening
Okay.
statements. What do you think?
Uh,
Here we go. So it begins.
okay, but what's your opening for?
I liked it. I think it's a little overcomplicated, and there's a better episode in there. And I'm a little disappointed by aspects of the companion.
Oh well, that's an opening for. It's not fucking your mission statement. God.
uh,
But so we open up with
well, hang on. We don't do it this way for Doctor Who. We only did that for Star Wars.
well no I'm doing this for a reason.
Okay.
We opened up with the new companion Belinda
Yeah. Miss Belinda
on a
Chandra.
park bench with a guy called Alan.
Yeah.
And I wrote down two things about Alan.
Yeah.
I wrote down the quote, "Girls aren't good at maths,"
Yeah.
and around about the time he said, "Well, do you like it then?" I wrote
Yeah.
down, "I don't like Alan."
Yes, I saw that. And was
I
like,
feel,
okay.
I feel like I am justified in my dislike.
You are. And as the episode goes on, you will be further justified by your dislike.
Oh yes,
Yes, I had that thought too.
it's not a good line, is it, to open up with?
No, no, we were like two lines in. It was like, girls are shit at maths. Girls
Yeah, I know
can't
you
do
got
no.
no mouse, but do you know what it means? And
It
yeah,
long
like he
way
came
way.
across,
Yes.
he came across as that before. Just very briefly, when did that take place?
That was 17 years ago. I was trying to do the
Yeah,
maths in my head. It was 2008.
that's 2000. That is 2008, and I don't know how I feel about the fact that it's
Yeah,
2008 when that
I
happened.
wasn't keen about it either.
I'm a bit, I'm a bit uncomfortable with the fact that in
We're
2008 this thing was taking place.
getting
Um,
old, man.
this was the Martha series was in 2008, wasn't it? Or was that the Donna series?
Well, the Donna series aired in 2008, but I think there's a year skip in the first series of the revival when they come back a year
Yeah, no, I
late.
meant I meant the one that came out,
Oh
not
yeah,
the Donna
the
one.
Donna Noble series
Okay.
come out.
Well, that's interesting because I. Oh no, we'll come back to it. Um, I did feel like when we flashed forward in time,
Hmm.
the music felt very Tennant era.
Hmm.
I don't know if you picked up on that as well.
Not quite. I mean, I will say
Okay.
from the moment that he bought her the star and named it
Yeah.
after her, I was like, oh, I think I know where this is going.
I'd
Gen
seen a clip that comes
broadly.
up. I'd seen a clip that comes up before the title credits
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
and I didn't like it when I saw it then. I liked it even less watching it.
What was it?
It was when she's walking towards the rocket and talking to Mrs. Flood.
I was fine with that.
The whole thing, it felt ridiculous and stupid.
Oh, I'm totally
Like,
fine with that.
no, because the trouble is, I wrote down, is this a rehash of Smith and Jones as part of my notes,
Yeah.
and they're trying to make her like Donna, and so I see her as a Donna Martha hybrid.
I don't entirely disagree. I the thought occurred that this was sort of let's do Martha right.
So
You
Martha
know,
was fine.
I think she was hung up on the doctor, and that was an issue.
Well,
But we'll see. I mean, I
it
like.
makes sense though, didn't it? That's the problem.
It was just a bit. I didn't really like that. I think I'm sort of in the camp that thinks they did Martha dirty, and there's a great character in there. But I like the. Well, for a start, I like Belinda as a companion, generally speaking. Although I don't like that she's another special person. Um,
Um, See, I take issue with the term companion for
yeah.
this
Well, she's sort
because
of
it
a
feels more like a
hostage.
hostage.
Yes.
But we'll come up to that.
I did think like I'm getting kidnappy vibes towards the end of that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I and you mentioned that it
So
seemed a
take me
bit.
home.
You mentioned that it seemed a bit ridiculous, but I really liked that. I thought it was funny. That worked for
I
me. That whole.
I didn't. It's the like. Okay, fine. It's possible that that's how someone's brain would process the situation that's going on. I get that. It's
Yeah,
reasonable.
yeah.
But I just didn't like it. It didn't do anything for
Well,
me. I felt a bit disappointed. I
yeah.
thought it was silly beyond what is acceptable for normal Doctor Who.
Well, I liked that and the bit where she arrives on the planet and it's like Miss Belinda Ites or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked that. But yes. Um, I want to talk about all the people the Doctor killed very early on in this episode when he shut off the
Yes.
power in a major hospital.
I missed it the first time round, but the second time round I heard the flatlining. I'm wondering what was making the flatline noise if the power went out, but okay.
He just goes, oops, as if like there aren't people on ventilators who are probably dying on
Yeah,
screen. It's just like
yeah, it's
that's. I hope he fixed that.
we um we also get to see
Well, while
the
he was stealing a person's private information from the NHS.
yeah, it's because of course he just does whatever the fuck he wants,
Of
doesn't he?
course he does. He's a god.
We see the modern issues with house sharing, and the fact that she is a nurse and can't
Yeah.
afford her own home
Yes.
is a shocking indictment of the system that we live in.
Uh-huh.
Clearly, this is an example of how Doctor Who has gone woke. I
Oh,
jest.
oh.
It's a element of realism, isn't it?
Well, one of her
Um,
roommates eats granola bars, so
yeah,
that's pretty fucking woke. And
yeah. I've got some granola bars on top of my fridge.
the other
So,
the other one wears a hairnet at night, like fucking
understandable.
Hilda Ogden.
Well, I mean, they are living next door to fucking Angie Watts. So,
Yay, Mrs. Flood! Yay! I just love seeing Anita Dawson.
they did have a fourth wall break with her, didn't they?
Yeah, she was like, "You ain't
And
seen me."
I was getting vibes of a fast show from them.
Yeah.
You ain't seen me, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, very good.
and you'll notice the picture I've got of her is her in the middle of that line.
Yeah.
Because I figured that was it was either that or when she's waving, but when she's waving, it obscures her face a bit, and I thought, nah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah. I just love seeing Anita Dobson. So I guess she moved at some point.
Yeah, well, all that, or because this is a back garden, right? So
Yeah.
it could just be the other side.
So you're suggesting that Ruby lives next to Mrs. Flood, who lives next to Belinda.
Possibly.
Well, I don't think that. Um,
I
yeah.
don't think it's likely. I just think it's a possibility.
I like the robots. I like their design,
Yeah, it's all right.
and I like the guns they use and stuff like that. But yeah, she gets taken to the planet, and right throughout this, I was kind of into it because I could see so clearly this being like a fun, silly adventure where there's so many stories where people get mistaken for a culture's god.
Yeah,
I thought we were going down that route.
there's a note I want to mention very quickly.
Yeah,
When we saw the AI generate,
yeah,
my immediate notes, and I will show you the picture. It's slap bang in the middle of my notes. I wrote down Wizard of Oz situation.
Well, I looked at it and thought, could you have designed a more sinister looking computer? It looks like the
Couldn't you?
fucking Terminator.
Yeah, but it's only half Terminator.
Well, it does look a bit
I
ridiculously
I got
evil.
I got tired of everything being named after her real fucking quick.
I didn't. I really liked that. I thought it was funny.
I got as far as Miss Belinda Chandra bombs.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I mean, funnily enough, I think that was probably the last time
Yeah.
we got anything serious. But
Yeah.
I was pleased it stopped.
Well,
it was out.
I
It
liked
outdone its welcome.
I liked it, and as I was saying, I sort of thought that this episode was going down the whole. We need, she's the person the planet's named after, and they know that, and it's a time of crisis, and they need her or something. But the issue you sort of have is you sort of have to explain how her name is so ingrained in the culture when it's only been named after her for 17 years, and how do they know that? And then you get all the timey-wimey shit, which I wasn't a massive fan of.
No, I mean it was a bit. It's complicated because it's harkening ever so slightly to an idea that we had.
Oh.
In the. I hate to give away our secrets. This whole villain from something that happens after in the wider storyline.
Yeah.
And so spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but if you haven't watched it yet, why the fuck are you watching this? Um, the only reason the bad guy's there at all is
Mm.
because she mentioned him on the way to
Yes.
getting kidnapped by the aliens,
Yeah.
and the timey-wimey stuff caused it. So he exists. He's there from a later point in time because of something that happened during the course of it. And
Yeah.
it's like I say, it sort of feels similar. No, it's not what we were talking about when we were saying what we would do,
No.
but it feels like a similar sort of vibe.
I
to me.
I just think it's an unnecessary complication, and you could have found an easier, simpler way to smooth that out and just have a fun episode where this planet kidnaps her because it thinks she's the queen because it's named after her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If that had been the case, I would have loved this episode. But the timey-wimey shit threw me off a bit.
I mean, it's a reasonable thing to throw you off. I do
Mm.
like the fact that when he said timey wimey, she asked if she was a child.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because it does seem a bit dumbed down for people at times. But again, it's a sci-fi show. It's supposedly a family TV show. I don't know how many children would have enjoyed watching a cat get vaporized.
Mm.
But
We didn't get
the
we didn't get Mavity.
thank fuck for that.
I was
We
sort of
did,
waiting.
however. I felt like they dumbed down the M39 word thing, and I understand why they did. I understand it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me. Um, but I feel like having. I mean, I was listening anyway. I hadn't picked up it was every ninth word, but I was listening to like the end of his sentence. Was
Well,
very
yeah,
clear
of
to me.
course, yeah,
It was fucking obvious.
yeah.
And then they went through the habit of. They went to the point of telling us what all those words were very quickly afterwards.
Mm.
Like, and it seemed like a step too far.
Well,
You know.
I think that's a weird and somewhat contrived flaw for the robots to have.
Yeah, because realistically, the ninth word would just be the first one of the next set.
Yeah,
That's how 8-bit works. I don't know fucking,
it's just
you know.
it's just a bit. It's just yeah. It only exists so you can have a moment where they're speaking in code,
Yeah, literally.
and you have
But
to
it's real
figure it
fucking
out.
obvious to us.
And it's something the audience can pick up on. Oh, okay, there's a hidden message in here, or whatever.
I will admit there was a very brief period of time where I thought the AI was in the polish machine
Hmm.
because of how insistent it was to hang around her. I
Hmm.
thought that was in some way connected to the story
Yeah.
in a fundamental way rather than it just being a plot device.
Yeah, I like the
Um,
polish machine. It was cute.
yeah, no, I had no issue with the polish machine. I just thought it was more important than it actually ended up being.
Well, I don't know whether this is in any way connected to the general theme of what you're saying, but the doctor made a friend when he arrived 6 months ago called Sasha,
Yes,
and
Sasha 55.
yes, and then we're told very quick exposition. He was here 6 months ago. I trust him with my life. Let's go see the stars. Oh no, she's
And
dead.
then of course she's gonna die.
As soon as she said that, I was like, okay, well, see you later, sweetheart. I bet.
I'll cover your escape.
Yeah.
No.
Oh
Death
shit.
lasers.
Yeah, it sort of struck me as examples of being told to care about this character rather than showing why we should.
Yeah.
I
We
yeah,
we had a bit just after where Belinda says sorry about your friend,
yeah,
and that's fine. That's fine. But for some reason, the immediate reaction I thought he was going to have was which one? Because all he has is friends who keep dying.
yeah. We got our
And
first.
okay,
Go on.
that's an example of what life is like if you're an immortal being, right? Is that
Yeah,
everyone you know and care about will eventually die.
yeah.
But you know,
We got we got our first Chuti Gatwa cry of the season.
yeah, we did.
Nice single tear rolling down the face.
Yep. Are you keeping a tally this season or am I?
We'll
I
mention
don't
it as
care
it
if he
comes up.
cries. I don't care if he cries. I can't remember what I said about it last season. I'm over it if I had issues. It's
No,
right.
I
A show of emotion is
I
sometimes important.
I like a more emotional Doctor. I just we have to care about the character that he's
Yeah.
crying over, and she was nothing to me.
And the thing is, I didn't really care about anyone in this story.
What's the name of the big butch guy?
What big butch guy?
The big butch guy who's a dick.
Oh,
To Belinda. It's like this is your
I can't
fault,
remember. I
Matty.
can't honestly remember.
Meg,
Something like that.
Megan.
No, it's an M. It doesn't matter. I didn't care about him
Miggs.
either.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
a
sorry,
real dick.
Miggs is the bloke from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah, that guy. He
Mm.
he was a real dick. Like,
Yeah.
this is your fault. You got these people killed, and she's been here like 5 fucking minutes and there's no idea what's going on.
Well, there was an actual, somewhat political but very accurate line in here.
Mm.
If you start deciding which body is best, you start going down a very dangerous path.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, that.
It is, and you know what? I wrote that line because I didn't write it. I wrote it down as a note because it's a very important message.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a very honest reaction because as someone who is an outsider in many ways, the Doctor,
Mm.
they are very definitely a don't judge people by everything until apart from their actions sort of person, aren't they?
But having said that, I was thinking when he said that line, and I did think, okay, yeah, that's good and all. But I also thought, I don't know, be kind of dope to have gills, you know. It's
Well,
it's,
yeah, I suppose.
it's like, yeah,
But
that might be an improvement if we could breathe underwater. I don't know. I'm not saying we like kill everybody who can't. I'm just, I'm just saying, eh.
trouble is, right. The thing about gills is they'd have to work in conjunction with regular lungs as well.
Oh, don't ruin it.
Or else we'd only be an underwater species.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this is Doctor Who.
We got another.
There's no place for science. I
We
like
got another reference as
I
well, by the way.
I like the scene where Belinda's doing all the treatment and she like immediately jumps into it because she notices a saline drip is empty and the woman
Yeah.
rattles off sci-fi ingredients and she's like, okay, I've got it, and it gets to work.
Yeah. Well, that's why I feel like she's a combination of Martha and Donna. Is
Well,
that she seems a bit ditzy in places,
mm,
but and this is early Donna specifically, and Donna's perceptions about herself.
mm,
She's a bit ditzy, but she's competent, but she doesn't necessarily feel confident sometimes.
mm,
If that makes sense.
yes.
That's how I'm perceiving her at the moment.
I don't perceive her that way. I appreciate why you do. I see her very much as a kind of a Martha 2.0, but in a better way than that sentence suggests.
Okay.
Like it's like let's take that basic character template and run with it to its full potential, which I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But yes, you
Yeah.
mentioned another reference,
Yeah, we got a Kylie Minogue reference.
did we?
We did. I'm almost certain it's a Kylie Minogue reference because of the subtitles and the fact it was capitalized and the fact that we had the "I Can't Get You Out of My Head" song in the Rogue episode last season.
Yeah.
So, would you like to hazard a guess at what the reference was?
Was it locomotion?
No.
Was it
Modern reference. You
was
probably heard a song. I have written about it as well.
was it Love at First Sight?
No. It was Padam Padam.
Oh right.
Talking about his two heartbeats. That is the name of a Kylie Minogue song.
Didn't she also
And
do
it
it?
caught my attention.
Didn't she also do a song called Two Hearts?
I don't know.
Maybe she did. No.
But at any rate, she definitely did a song called Padam Padam because I wrote about it.
Hmm.
And it wouldn't be the first. It's not the first time that Kylie's songs have necessarily been brought up because we had the "I Can't Get You Out of My Head" reference before.
Yeah.
So it feels deliberate.
Probably. I guess this
but
doctor is a Kylie fan.
I wanted to mention it just because
Yeah.
I doubted you'd have picked that up.
I did not.
One of your lesser knowledge of music.
No.
But
No.
I think it's fair.
I didn't pick it up. No.
But yeah, we get the reveal that it's Incel Boy.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Well, she hands herself over by reactivating the cleaning droid and thereby allowing the robots to track her down. And she hands herself over. And for some reason, the doctor goes with her.
Yeah.
There's never a
Well,
moment.
he's the historian, isn't
Well,
he? He's the one it's his job to document, not interfere. Is literally what they tell afterwards.
Well,
He
stick
wants to
a
do a thing, and they're like, "It's your job to witness it."
well, stick a fucking line in, Russell. Have a
They
line.
did.
Yeah, but not only after the fact that it wasn't particularly clear. You know.
Well, I think it was real fucking clear.
Well, it didn't make any sense why they brought him. They should have just said, as the historian, you will document this momentous occasion.
I swear to God, I was questioning why he was there, and then they did the line. I was like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. So
Well,
it works for me.
okay.
Maybe
So,
you're just dumb.
so yes, Incel Boy is the ghost in the shell or whatever.
Yeah, he's all Cyberman up a little bit, but not quite.
Yeah,
I was
well,
thinking there might have been a Cyberman reveal actually
I
because
was.
of the whole no pain, no
Well,
suffering,
yeah,
whatever.
I did get real Cyberman vibe both from that and the scene where they showed what they were going to do to her. It was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
we're okay. Um, yeah, yeah, I thought in a simpler story, this probably would have been more interesting. Can't you just make him outright the villain? Because it's a bit. Is he the villain?
I think he is.
Because
I
he's.
think what you do is, I think the way you fix this is he's managed to somehow orchestrate this because she broke up with him, and he's literally gone to the other end of a fucking galaxy so he can actually marry her like he wanted to, but
Yes,
now she hasn't got a choice to say no.
yes, you make him outright the villain rather than there's still a
Yeah.
bit of humanity in him.
Or is there? Because I'm not entirely sure. I mean, obviously we have that bit with the line and the words and all that, but nothing really came of it. There's no indication after that actually it
No,
was accurate.
because usually you would have it where you imply there's still some humanity in him, and that part of him sort of fights the other
Yeah.
part of him, and nobly sacrifices himself to bring down the robot in him or whatever. You know?
Is it possible? Is it possible that the human that's left inside him is an asshole? Still,
Yeah.
in which case,
It's just easier just to have a story where a guy gets dumped and then I don't know somehow ends up on this planet and builds a culture or whatever. You know, make him the outright villain.
yeah. I mean, I do think that's what you do.
He looks design wise, he looks good.
Yeah, it's all right.
And I
I
like
got the
how
picture because
I
I
like
didn't say that.
I like how he's totally into being like king of the robots. Because honestly, I when I saw Belinda get taken to the planet, I was like, that looks nice.
Yeah, with the exception of the fact that her powers are just nominal, which I
Well,
thought was a nice line. Regrettably, your powers are just nominal.
mm,
But the war's over. They touch diplomas, and then
yeah,
the war's over.
and we get a really interesting looking 2001 Space Odyssey slash Vertigo type thing,
Yeah,
and Alan gets turned into a sperm and an egg,
yep.
and then swept up, and the Doctor laughs about it, which is nice.
A bit macabre.
Yeah, it is
Really.
a bit. Yeah, it is a bit fucked up. But he has just wiped out like 50 people in that hospital
Yeah, I
while
suppose
trying to steal confidential information.
he's such a criminal.
He
He fucked
is.
up.
Yeah.
But the war ended so fucking quickly, and everyone's. I know he did the forgive thing to him, but it's
Mm.
like, that ain't a quick fix. That situation.
Yeah, those robots are for the fucking scrap pile.
Absolutely. At the very least, you're getting rid of their laser gun.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe their arms too. I don't know.
No, that's what they. Their
Well,
laser guns are arms.
all right. I thought you were gonna make a joke about jerking off or something.
No.
Yeah, and then they all bow to the Queen, and she leaves.
You see, I've got something I want to mention here.
Yeah.
I don't recall him ever mentioning that it's a TARDIS.
I noted that too. I was like, how does she know it's a TARDIS? Is he going to mention that?
She asked if that was his TARDIS, and he didn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
But he will have picked up on it, but he won't have. We're going to find out in 6 episodes' time. Actually,
Or
he noted it, but he didn't want to say anything because it would freak her out, or even more than she already was.
or it doesn't matter in the slightest, and it's just an oversight by the writing team.
The fact that neither of us thought he'd said it before that point,
Yeah,
suggests that he didn't say it.
I definitely made a note of it. Because the way you play that scene is she mentions is that your TARDIS, and he starts talking, and then he stops and is like, "I never said it was a TARDIS. Well, how do you know that?" She's like, "I don't know."
To Mrs. Flood and pulls out 16 guns and shoots the place up.
Yeah.
Because Moore needs a Dobson.
Yes. Yeah. So she knows it's a TARDIS, which is weird because he definitely didn't mention TARDIS. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that coming up, maybe. Yeah.
Mentioned the genetic thing, regeneration that we had before.
Yes, from the Boom episode, and she's freaked out because he took her DNA without her consent, which
and quite rightly.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I get that because the Doctor's always doing shit like that.
She calls him out on every fucking thing.
Yeah,
And it's exactly right. And he seems so downtrodden to have been called out for it.
yeah.
And really, he's just in some ways he doesn't come across that much better than Alan.
Well, yeah.
In some ways,
Look, Alan bought her a star,
exactly. The
and
doc
then,
won't even take her home.
and then
Come up
patronised
with
her
all sorts
about
of
it.
bullshit reasons. Just take her to the 23rd.
That was exactly what I thought. I was
Just
like,
hang out for a bit. Say, look, I can take you home. You're going to be a bit early, but you can't leave.
yes,
We'll watch TV or something.
let's go to the
Go and
23rd.
have breakfast.
I'll get you some dinner. You know, we'll take a walk. We'll see the Cotswolds or something, and then I'll you'll make it
Drop
home,
you off just. Yeah,
and
it'll be
then
fine.
yeah. But
I'll
no,
tell you what. I'd even take you to work after.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
just,
no, it's just
well, hell, miss a fucking day at work.
yeah, possible.
Um,
He did. I just want to very briefly. You mentioned it. He pointed at her and said "boom."
all right, I didn't see that.
At one point whilst they were in the TARDIS, and that
Oh
was
yeah, yeah. Oh,
he said kaboom earlier in the episode, but whilst
yeah.
they were in the TARDIS, he pointed at her and said "boom," and I thought, well, obviously, yeah, because of
I
course he's going to reference his own fucking works, isn't he?
I do just want to. That was Stephen Moffat, but I do just want to.
Still Doctor Who.
Yeah, I do just want to mention that they don't. I mean, I know we're sort of joking about it, but he says that the 24th is sort of bouncing us back.
Yeah.
But there's never any. I mean, it seems like such an obvious workaround, and there's no reason given why it wouldn't be a workaround just to go the day before or the day after or something.
It's something that needed saying.
Yeah, you could. Why don't you just say we can't go back to Earth because the whole thing is bouncing us back?
That point will be redeemed if she questions it in the next episode.
Maybe.
As far as I'm concerned, that point gets redeemed if she flags it up in the next episode.
Well, okay, we know they can go to Earth because the next episode is set on Earth.
1952.
Yeah, like if they are doing it. Why? Okay, He said we'll do it the long way, so I guess he's
Yeah,
just
but she's not going to hang out for 50.
no, but
6 fucking years.
no, but my guess is he's testing out. Okay, let's go back a cert. Can we go to the 50s? Yes, we can. Okay, can we go to the 60s? Oh, yep. Okay, there's the Beatles and their shit wigs. You know,
I just want to actually correct that. It would have been 69 years from. No, not 69 years. Oh, I don't fucking know. I can't math. 73?
I don't give a shit. 72. So
No. 52 to
oh,
2025.
I thought you said 50.
73.
I thought you said 53. It doesn't
No, I
matter.
definitely said 52.
Okay. So yeah, then they disappear, and the camera lingers, and we have a London taxi drifting by, and then for some reason, the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty and the pyramids of Giza.
Well, a pyramid. We don't necessarily know it is that one.
A pyramid of Giza. It's
Well,
clearly
it looks like it's supposed to be.
yeah,
But and the certificate as well.
yeah,
Still framed.
yeah.
I do. Obviously, there's meant to be some big thing that happens. Someone's stealing monuments again or something. Pesky minions.
Yeah.
So do you want to know something that's important about the 24th of May?
No.
That's when episode 7's gonna come out.
Oh, cool.
So clearly something's going to come back for this in episode 7.
Right.
It's going to be part of the 2-parters. We'll get the reveal of what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like the fact that that's a thing that's so clearly obvious based on when it's set. I just I like a bit less realism in my fantasy.
Well, I hate the fact that she's special, and I hate the fact that we're doing this again. Can't she just be a lady?
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh
Meet a
well.
nice lady, settle down.
That's that period of Doctor Who's over for now. I think we may get that again at some point, but
Well, there's no
Yeah.
guarantee we'll get a next season, man. To be honest with you.
no, we will. There's all sorts of talk of Doctor Who being cancelled, but we'll get another season.
I last I heard, and this is from Russell himself or Duty or one of them.
Yeah.
They aren't making any decisions until this season's sorted.
Well, there you go.
So that which tells me there's no guarantee we're getting a season 3.
Yeah.
At this stage, it's not a guaranteed thing.
So yeah, that's the Robot Revolution.
4 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7.
You're going to give it a 7 purely because of my prediction failure.
Well,
Is that the only reason you're giving it a 7?
yeah. Let me give you a proper one.
Okay.
Let me think. Um, Probably a 6 or a 5 or 6. I think.
Okay.
There's
So
the
you don't think that highly of it. We both acknowledge it could have been improved with a very relatively simple fix.
yeah. Like a lot of these episodes, it's not hard to improve them. You
I'm
don't
writing
need.
down
You
4
don't
out of
need.
10 and 5 or 6 out of 10 on my fingers. Got my predictions on it
All right. Well
because I
done.
know you'll argue with this. You'll be like,
That's
oh, actually, in retrospect.
that's a reference to our main video series where we try and predict events of the week. Jordan again chose an easy one, but whatever.
What do you mean I chose an easy one? Mr. Celebrity Death.
All right, fucking Mr. Fucking Plane Crash.
Okay, but I I was desperately hoping
Hmm.
that we were going to get better Doctor Who. You know what? We fucking haven't.
there's
We haven't.
there's good stuff in there. I hate saying this about Doctor Who episodes, but there's a good episode in there, a better episode in there. You
I don't
know,
want the better episode to be in there. I want
I
it to be the
know,
fucking
I
episode, mate.
know. I don't. I wish. I know. I know, Jordan. There's good.
I
There's
just,
you know,
I mean, I almost considered. I'm almost considering not
suicide.
watching if it's more.
What?
I'll do this season, but I can't guarantee I'm going to want to watch the next one. And I've not missed one since the reboot.
Well, you liked Rogue last time, and you thought the season finale had some good things, and you thought
If
generally like
if
that.
I'm liking 1 out of every 8 episodes, it's not worth my time,
Okay,
is it?
I'm going to challenge you. I want you to name 3 things you liked about this episode, big or small.
Oh, well, let me get me feedback that I chucked it in the bin because see me unfolding it.
Uh-huh.
Hear me unfolding, I should say.
Uh-huh.
There we go. I liked the fourth wall break.
From Mrs. Flood, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It made me chuckle for terminology because I connected it to something else, but it's still I liked it. I can't fault that.
Okay.
I liked I liked how well the aliens parked for Rocky. I didn't note about that. I didn't tell you to say that, but I thought they parked quite nicely. But it was a shame that they just barged straight through the walls.
God, you do hate Doctor Who, don't you? Yeah, go on.
And I do like that the fact that it was Al and not AI was because something was ever so slightly in the way.
What do
The
you
thing
mean?
that folds down, the door that folds down, the top of it was ever so slightly in the way of the bottom of the L.
Oh,
So
right.
it looked like AI, but it's only because the L bit of the L
Hmm.
was hidden, obscured by something just literally being in the way. That's
Hmm.
why everyone thought it was AI. It's because they couldn't fucking read it because it was obscured. I thought that was I double checked it when I was getting the pictures just to be sure that was what had happened because I was like, well, how could they mistake it? But yeah, I thought maybe we just hadn't had
Hmm.
a good look at it, and so it looked like it was AI, but
Hmm.
actually it's AL or it's one of those stupid lowercase L's. But no, it was a proper and I thought that was it's an acceptable use of misdirection.
Well, I liked a lot of the costume design and things like that. I liked the general premise. I thought it had a lot of fun promise to it. I think it was over too complicated for its own good, and I don't like these sort of companionist special long story arcs. But on the whole, I thought there were some good things about it. So
I, I want to like it, but I
I
just
know you
don't.
do. Well, next time, the next episode looks kind of cool. They're in
I guess
1952. There's a creepy cartoon character killing people in movie theaters.
no, people are disappearing. They're not necessarily dying.
Okay, okay,
Odds are they're being. I'm telling you now. I'm gonna guess now. They are all trapped in their own individual microfilm cells. You know when you can get like a single frame of
yeah,
like Mickey Mouse drawn from Steamboat Willie or whatever.
yeah,
They're all trapped in their own ones of them. That's what I'm guessing right now.
okay. Well,
That's my Doctor Who prediction of the week.
I'm looking forward to that, and it seems like it might be a creepy one. So join us next time for the episode, which apparently is called Lux.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cheers.
bye.
Bye.